Good day, friends. Welcome back to Smart Bucket. In today's video, we have another problem on what partial fraction, right? It's the question says that find the partial fraction for the expression below. So we have to find the partial fraction for the expression below. Now, one thing I want us to understand here is that before solving this problem, let's understand a little bit what partial fraction is all about, right? So we can say that here's how partial fraction goes. If we're given like an expression, let's give a demarcation to this. Let's say we're given an expression 2 over 5 minus 3 over 4 plus 2, no, let's say plus 1 over 2, right? We know this is a regular fraction, right? Which are added and subtracted. So for we to solve this kind of fraction, we need to find the LCM, right? So we need to find the LCM. How do you find the LCM of this? In most cases, we just need to what? Multiply the denominator, right? So we do like this: 5 by 4 by 2, right? So now 5 by 4 by 2, right, is going to give us like 40, but we don't need 40, right? Because we know that if we use 20, 5 is going to go into 20, it's going to, no, 4 is going towards 20 also, and 2 will also go into 20. So we can eliminate 2, since what? 4 has the multiple of 2. So we can just eliminate it from what? The problem. So we are left with what? 5 and 4, which is 20. Now 5 and 4, right? When it becomes 20, right? So this becomes what? 20. Now 20 goes into 5 how many times? 4 times. Now that 4 times, the 2 at the numerator here, it becomes what? 4 times 2, 8. The next one, we have the minus. Now 20 into 4 goes 5 times. 5 times 3 gives us what? 15. Now the last one is 20 goes into 2 10 times. 10 times 1 is 10. So we are left with this. So we end up having what? 8 minus 15 plus 10. So we're having 18 minus 15, right? 18 minus 15 divided by 20, that equals 3 by 20. Now we can see that what? The fraction 2 by 5 minus 3 by 4 plus 1 over 2 equals 3 over 20. This is a partial fraction, right? This is a partial fraction, right? This is just like a proper fraction, I should say. Proper fraction. Why I call it proper fraction is that it is a simplified version, right, of what is on the what? Left hand side, right? So now you can see that we go from this fraction, which we call the partial fraction, which is splitted into just a single one, which is giving us a value of 3 over 20, right? So there are cases whereby we want to go for the proper fraction, which is like 3 over 20, right? Back to what? The partial fraction. It's easier to go from what? The partial fraction to the singular version or the solidified version. But to go from the solidified version back to what? The partial fraction. That's what we need to do here, and that's why we need partial fraction. So let's see how we are going to solve the problem we have been given at the top, right? So we move from like 3 over 20 back to these scattered values. So we go from this single value, which is 8x minus 28 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8, to what? A broken value, like something over something plus something over something plus something over something. So here's how we're going to deal with the problem, right? So we're going to say 8x, right, minus 28 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8. The first thing we need to make sure is that the numerator has to be a degree lower than the denominator for we to apply this, right? In other words, if the numerator and the denominator are equal, the degree is equal. Like this one, we're having x to the power of 1. This one is to the power of 2. So you see that 1 is less than 2. But at even let's say here is 2 instead of 1. And the down part also is also 2. We have to divide. We have to perform long division. If in the case that the numerator is like 3, while the denominator is 2, we also have to do long division. We have to divide. But if the numerator is less than what? The denominator by 1, we have to just apply this step. It's the most easiest part of it. So when we are given this, what we need to first of all focus on is what is the denominator. How can we break this down so we have something like this times this? So we kind of will factorize it. So for we to factorize this, I know that x squared is having a coefficient of 1 and 8. So we have 1 and 8, right? So what value are we going to use, right? That is going to give us 6, because 1 and 8 is going to give us what? 8. You understand? So now, what is the value when we multiply together is going to give us 8, which is this, and when we add or subtract is going to give us -6, which is this. So for me, I'm thinking of 4 and 2, right? So we write down 4 and 2. Now we know that 4 times 2 is going to give us 8, right? But what about 4 plus 2? Is it going to give us -6? No. So definitely we need to note the sign, which means if you have -4 minus 2, right? When we add them together, we are going to get -6. What about the 8? -4 times -2, is it going to give us 8? Yeah, it's going to give us 8 because minus times minus is positive. Likewise, -4 plus -2 is equal to -6. So this is the value we are going to substitute into it. So we can say that 8x minus 28 divided by x squared minus 4x minus 2x plus 8, right? So we can factorize this as this, right? So we have 8x minus 28 divided by x by factorizing the first part, open bracket, x minus 4, which is the first part. The next one is -2, open bracket, x, right, minus 4. Because -2 times x will give us -2x, and -2 times -4 is going to give us +8. So I think we're correct in that case. So the next thing we need to do is to take this value and one of what? The bracket. So we say 8x minus 28 divided by x minus 2 and then x minus 4. So you see now we've broken that problem down into this now. So you see we are getting closer to it. So now we need to apply the steps of what partial fraction to it. All these things, right? We've gotten one whole like fraction, one whole expression in bracket and another whole expression in bracket. So what we can do here is that say whenever we have something like this, we can equate it and say, okay, we want to apply partial fraction to this by saying we say a, right? We don't know what the value is going to be, divided by one of this, which is what? X minus 2, right? Then we say plus b, because we don't know what it's going to be. Then we take the second fraction, the second expression, which is x minus 4. So it's kind of saying we want to split this thing up, because we know when we apply LCM and we multiply this and this, is going to be combined just like we did in 5 times 4. You get the point? So what we need to proceed in doing here is that we need to keep what? Simplifying. Since we know that the expression above, which is 8x minus 28 divided by x minus 2 and x minus 4 equals a value of a over x minus 2 plus b over x minus 4, right? So for we to remove the denominator, this value here, so that we have the above expression only, we need to say multiply through both sides by this value, this same value, so we can cancel it out. So we are multiplying this whole expression, both the left hand side and the right hand side, by x minus 2 times x by 4. So as we are doing that, we know definitely that this value on this side is going to cancel everything below here, right? So we end up with 8x minus 28 equals, now this same value here is going to affect this value, but we know that a minus 2 is going to go with this, isn't it? So if it is going to go with this, we are left with a times x minus 4. So a times x minus 4. Likewise, the second part, which is b, this goes with this, we are left with this and this. So in that case, we say we are having b open by x minus 2. You see, we are simplifying it better. So we can what? Simplify this fraction on the what? Right hand side. Let's write down this. So this one become ax minus 4a plus what? bx minus 2b. So let's proceed. Now we need to group the like terms. We see ax and abx here, so we need to group it. We have 8x minus 2a is equal to ax plus bx, then minus 4a minus 2b. So we can also simplify it as said, we factorize x out, then we are left with a plus what? B. And this one also, I don't think we need any factorization. We can just say what? We're giving the value of what? Negative out, right? Then we put, or we just leave it like this. We say plus, right? Then we put everything inside a bracket because we know plus doesn't have an effect on minus, but minus does have an effect if we introduce it. So once we do something like this, right, we can say that this expression here comes down here also. Now, if you look at this expression, right, which is 8x minus 28, right, we can see that one is having x as value and we are having x now x on this side also. So we would just say that what? 8x. That's the reason why we simplify it or collect like them, so that we can just factorize the x part and equate x to x. And the one that doesn't have x, we equate it to what? The one that doesn't have x, right? So we say 8x is equal to x open bracket a plus b. And the second one is negative 28, right? So that one too is also equal to what? Minus 4a minus 2b. So that's one of the thing about partial fraction. We'll keep breaking it down to simplify things. So the x goes with x, and the one that doesn't have x goes with the one that doesn't have x. So we can see that in this first case, which is this one, right? X can cancel x. So we are left with 8 equals a plus b. In the second one, we can multiply through, which is what? This one is the first one, this is the second one. We can multiply through by what? Negative 1 to make everything positive. So we have positive 28 equals to positive 4a, then plus 2b. So now let's say this is equation 3. Let's say this is what? Equation 4. So since this is that, right? What we need to do here is that we say that 8 equals a plus b, right? And 28 equals to 4a plus what? 2b. So we need to either make a subject formula and substitute and find the value of what? A, and substitute it into the other equation, or we do what? We apply simultaneous equation, whatever one we like to apply. But I would love to use what? No, subject formula, then you substitute. So this is what we're going to do. So we say, what we need to do here is that we say that 8 equals to what? A value of what? A plus b. Am I right? Then the next one is what? 28 equals to positive 4a plus 2b. Let's rearrange it. So we end up having a plus b equals to 8, and then 4a plus 2b equals 28. Right? Let's give this and let's say equation 5. this become equation 6. So in that case, what we can do here is to say, okay, from equation 5, which is a plus b equal to 8, I want to make a subject formula. Then we have 8 we have 8 minus b, because if we take b this side, it becomes what? Negative, right? So since I have that, I can substitute this into what? 4a. It becomes what? 8 minus b plus 2b equals what? 28. So we can say that 4 times 8 is going to give us a value of what? 32. Then 4 times minus b is minus 4b. Then we are left with what? Plus 2b equals what? 28. So we can simplify this. Minus 4 plus 2 is going to give us minus 2b, right? So we are left with the 32 here equals to 28. So we can proceed by saying what? 32 minus 2b is equal to 28, right? So I can say minus 2b equals to 28. By taking 32 the other side, we have minus 32. So we are left with minus 2b equals, so we know that 28 minus 32b is going to give us a value of negative 4, right? So we can divide both sides by 2. Negative 2, right? Negative 2. So in that case, this negative cancel this, we are left with b equals to what? Negative cancel negative, we are left with this, right? So b is equal to 2. So we've calculated for b, right? So we have calculated for b. The next thing we need to do is to what? Take the expression which is a equals to 8 minus b and substitute the value of b. So we know that a equals to 8 minus b, right? And b is equal to 2, so it's equal to 8 minus 2 equals 6. Definitely a equals 6, right? So as the case that b equals to 2 and a equals to 6, let's substitute back into the expression we defined previously. So we can say that what now? 8x, right? 8x minus 28 divided by the value of x squared minus 6x plus 8 is equal to, we say we have a divided by some fraction which is x minus 2, am I right? And then the other one which is what? Plus b divided by x minus 4. So in that case, let's just substitute the value of a and b. So this become equals to what? A is 6 divided by x minus 2 and b equals 2 over x minus 4. So you can see that now the expression which is 8x minus 2 minus 28 divided by x squared minus 6x plus 8 is now broken down into 6 over x minus 2 plus 2 over x minus 4. This is what we term partial fraction, and this is the reason why we do it. It's like the reverse case of what? Finding LCM. So if you are given a partial fraction, you find the LCM to make it solidified or single. And when you are given the single expression like that or the fraction, you can get the partial fraction by applying the steps to it. I hope the concept is clear. If there's any question, feel free to ask in the comment section and I'll be able to respond. Goodbye.